loving you always, until the day is night and night becomes day, until the trees and cease just up and fly away, until the day that 8 times 8 times 8 is 4, until the days that are no more, until the earth starts shining bright again, until the earth just for the sun and night itself. I'll be loving you always, I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you, I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you, I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you. Yeah. Be loving you. Oh.
Harlem has come to bid farewell to one of its brightest hopes, extinguished now and gone from us forever. For Harlem is where he worked and where he struggled and fought, his home of homes, where his heart was and where his people are. And it is therefore most fitting that we meet once again in Harlem to share these last moments with him. For Harlem has been gracious to those who have loved her, have fought for her, and have defended her honor even to the death.
A man who was great as we will ever find, a Renaissance man, but he was a human being. He suffered like the rest of us, and I can remember the times when Percy would be pleading a cause and wondering how come people didn't understand, how come they didn't want to go with him. When he wanted money for the Apollo or wanted money for inner city, and he'd be at the Urban Development Corporation, we'd be there, me as his lawyer, and he as the client, and we'd make sense. And even the head of the UDC used to say, without Percy Sutton, 125th Street would be dead. He rebuilt 125th Street.
Percy made everyone feel like there was somebody, not just Malcolm X, not just Nelson Mandela, not just the civil rights leaders, but that guy in the street that just needed a little help. And it's not the Dinkins and the Pattersons and the Rangos, really. It's him calling, say, buddy, we need to do something. We got a job to do. And whether it was Gary or Katrina or wherever it was, we were just so proud, so very, very proud to be a part of him. And we all cannot be Percy Sutton, but in each and every one of you, there is a little bit of Percy Sutton in you.
He was a stalwart friend, a fearless mentor who was ever willing to give me guidance, encouragement, and support. That is why today I stand as a fearless civil rights activist. Because Percy Sutton took the time to take a little girl from Montgomery, Alabama, to teach her and to be a role model for many of the things that I have accomplished today.
Are you aware of how significant it is that a body of people, whether you knew him personally, intimately, where you got to be loved by him, counseled by him, given guidance by him, instructed by him, that in this day and age, someone that saw so much and could have made many other choices chose to stand nearby to be accessible to all of us until he made his transition. I am really clear how gifted I am to have had the honorable, and I mean that in many great ways, Percy Ellis Sutton in my life.
Who did I meet but Percy Ellis Sutton, who was our intelligence officer. Percy's job was to take the information from the 15th Air Force headquarters where we flew with and tell us about the location of the targets, where the anti-aircraft would be, and where the fighter planes would be. On the morning of our missions, early in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, Percy would get up with a big map and point out where the target would be. He told us where the anti-aircraft would be and where the German fighter planes would be. With his beautiful diction and dramatic presentation, he made us feel when we left that briefing that the Nazis didn't have a chance. And we worked in education, politics, law, community activism. And for 50 years, I worked with Percy Sutton. One thing you could say, that he would dream the impossible and then make it work.
You got to understand, when we're talking about Percy Sutton being a lawyer, it was at a time blacks couldn't afford him and whites wouldn't use him. And he had to work 2 jobs at night with little sleep to go to law school. It was a mountain he had to climb. Percy Sutton came to New York and slept up under a sign, just dreaming that he could make a way, and he dreamed that dream until it became a reality. Fought Nazis abroad, and then had to come home and fight to get from the back of the bus. It was mountains they had to climb. But Percy Sutton didn't die. He just passed away. Because every time a black politician walks in a legislative hall, that's Percy Sutton. Every time a black radio station plays black music, that's Percy Sutton. Somebody told a lie. Percy Sutton didn't die, because every time talk radio registers voters and mobilizes those that would fight for justice, that's Percy Sutton. Every time someone speaks eloquently and addresses our pain with defiance and dignity mixed equally together, that's Percy Sutton. Percy Sutton just passed on. And in his passing, we're glad he passed this way.
Percy Sutton and his legacy represents transformational changing force. His thought under the sun gives us a point of light, and some do exceptionally well, and we call them stars.
But now I'm found. I was blind, but now I can see.